Alex Eala arrived at the Rock Creek Park Tennis Center just 6 days ago as one of many contenders in the draw. Today she steps onto Stadium Court as the tournament's biggest attraction. According to DC Open chairman Mark Ein, nearly 80 of all ticket. Inquiries after her entry was confirmed revolved around one question: when is Alex Eala playing? That wasn't promotional hype or an exaggerated estimate. It was the reality inside the tournament's ticket office. Now Eala stands just one victory away from making history. A win this afternoon would make her the first Filipino player ever to capture a WTA 500 singles title. Standing in her way is a familiar opponent, the same player who shattered her dreams when the spotlight was this bright before. Jessica Pegula defeated Eala in the 2025 Miami Open semifinals, winning 76-57, 63 after nearly 3 exhausting hours. That heartbreaking loss left the young Filipina overwhelmed with emotion as she buried her face in a towel after the final point. But that was 16 months ago. Back then, Eala was ranked outside the world's top 60. She had never defeated a top 5 opponent, never won a match at Wimbledon, and had never even competed in Washington, D.C. The player who suffered that painful Miami defeat is no longer the same athlete standing on the court today. Over the past week, Eala has transformed herself into one of the hottest players in the tournament. She has eliminated 3 consecutive seeded opponents, including a former world, no one without us, dropping a single set in those victories, proving she belongs among the elite. Jessica Pegula, however, has evolved as well. The American enters the final with 2 WTA titles already in 2026 and an impressive 359 season record in yesterday's semifinal. Against Diana Schneider, Pegula erased a 52 first-set deficit before winning in straight sets, displaying the calm confidence and ruthless efficiency that define one of the world's best competitors. Washington also holds special meaning for Pegula. This is where she claimed her first WTA title back in 2019. At the time, she was 25 years old, ranked outside the top 50, and largely unknown outside her hometown of Buffalo. 7 years later, she returns as the world no. 3, chasing another Washington. Crowned this time at a larger event against a stronger field, and in front of a crowd expected to overwhelmingly support her opponent, Pegula has openly admitted that completing this full-circle journey gives this final extra significance. So, when the match begins this afternoon, it will represent far more than another championship contest. It is a collision between 2 players whose paths to the final grew increasingly difficult with every round. They also share one unforgettable memory: the Miami semifinal that inspires confidence for one and fuels motivation for the other. And both understand that today's stakes extend well beyond ranking points and prize money. This is about legacy. Eala's road to the championship match has been nothing short of remarkable. She opened the tournament against Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen. Although Zheng entered as a wild card ranked outside the top 100, everyone knew she still possessed the explosive shot-making ability capable of overwhelming almost anyone on tour. Things immediately looked bleak for Eala. She dropped the opening set, then fell behind by a break in the second. A first-round exit seemed inevitable in her Washington debut, especially with lingering jet lag following her trip home to the Philippines. Then everything changed. Eala suddenly found another level, winning 7 of the next 8 games. She stormed back for a stunning 46, 64, 61 victory, and from the middle of the second set onward, her game shifted completely. It wasn't a gradual improvement, it felt as though someone had flipped a switch. The second round presented another enormous challenge. Waiting for her was defending champion and 7th seed Leylah Fernandez, who had comfortably beaten Eala just 3 months. Earlier in Stuttgart, 61-64, many expected another difficult matchup. Instead, Eala completely changed the script. She dominated the opening set, 62, applying relentless pressure on Fernandez, serve with aggressive returning that immediately disrupted the Canadian's rhythm. But the defending champion wasn't finished. Fernandez battled back, breaking Eala twice and racing to a commanding 51 lead in the 2nd set. The comeback seemed inevitable, and most believed the match was headed for a deciding set. Eala had other plans. She produced one of the most remarkable turnarounds of the tournament, reeling off 6 consecutive games. She broke Fernandez while trailing 54, then held serve to move ahead, 65. Although Fernandez forced a tiebreak by breaking back, Eala delivered a masterclass under pressure, dominating the breaker 71. It was the performance of a seasoned champion. Her composure shot selection and fearless execution looked nothing like a player making her Washington debut just days earlier. Instead, she performed with the confidence of someone who had spent years winning matches on the biggest stages. The momentum only continued to build as she advanced to the quarterfinals, where another major test awaited against 2nd seed Elina Svitolina. By then, it was becoming increasingly clear that Eala was no longer just one of the tournament's biggest stories. She had become its most dangerous player. The quarterfinal against 2nd seed Elina Svitolina was arguably the most complete performance of Eala's tournament. She won 63-64 without facing the kind of drama that had defined her earlier comeback victories. There were no desperate recoveries, no momentum swings, just controlled aggression from the opening point to the final handshake. Eala captured more than 70 of her first serve points and dictated play with remarkable confidence, earning a standing ovation from a crowd that had turned a traditional American hard-court event into something that felt remarkably close to a home match in Manila. Afterward, Eala's coach Joan Bosch, who made the trip from the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, revealed that their preparation had focused on countless forehand and backhand repetition drills designed to sharpen timing. On the court, every hour of that preparation paid off. Then came the semifinal. Across the net stood Naomi Osaka, the 4-time Grand Slam champion and 3rd seed on paper. This was supposed to be the match that finally stopped Eala's incredible run. When Osaka is playing her best tennis, she is one of the most explosive ball strikers the women's game has ever seen. Her serve can be nearly impossible to read, and her forehand has the power to overwhelm even the world's best defenders. Eala never allowed her to reach that level. She delivered a commanding 64-62 victory, producing one of the finest performances of her young career. The statistics only reinforced how complete her display was. Eala won 70 of her first serve points and an outstanding 79 of her second serve points. She committed just 1 double fault all afternoon, converted 4 of her 12 breakpoint opportunities, and saved 3 of the 4 break points she faced. This wasn't a match that Osaka simply gave away. It was a match in which Eala systematically took control. Every time Osaka tried to establish rhythm from the baseline, Eala's deep returns immediately pushed her behind the court. Whenever Osaka landed a big first serve, Eala anticipated it, absorbed the pace, and sent it back with interest. By the middle of the second set, Osaka was repeatedly directing the ball toward Eala's forehand, not because it was her preferred tactic, but because Eala had closed off nearly every other option. Looking back at the draw, it's remarkable what Eala accomplished. Zheng Qinwen, Leylah Fernandez, Elina Svitolina, Naomi Osaka. That sequence would be considered a brutal path at a Grand Slam, let alone a WTA 500 event She eliminated the defending champion in the second round, earned her sixth top 10 victory of the season in the quarterfinals, and then produced perhaps the most dominant win of her professional career in the semifinals. And she accomplished all of it as an unseeded wildcard. Tournament organizers had actively pursued Eala months earlier, hoping to bring the rapidly rising Filipina star to Washington. They expected excitement. What they received was something far bigger. Now let's look at Jessica Pegula's road to the final as the tournament's top seed. Pegula received a first-round bye before opening her campaign against Magdalena French. The match started in alarming fashion. Pegula dropped the opening set, 63, while landing just 36 of her first service, a number that would concern any coach watching from the sidelines. But one of Pegula's greatest strengths throughout her career has been her ability to reset quickly. She never panicked. Instead, she completely changed the match, dominating the final two sets, 63-60. The turnaround wasn't gradual, it happened almost instantly. She began landing first serves consistently, immediately took control of rallies, and Frank simply had no answer. The quarterfinal against fifth seed Anna Kalinskaya showcased exactly why Pegula has remained among the world's elite for several seasons. She secured a composed 63-75 victory while barely allowing her opponent any sustained momentum. Pegula protected her serve comfortably. Throughout the opening set, covered the court with incredible efficiency, and patiently absorbed Kalinskaya's power before redirecting it into uncomfortable angles. Kalinskaya thrives on aggressive shot-making. Pegula made that power look ordinary. Her toughest challenge came in the semifinals against Diana Schneider. For the first time all week, Pegula genuinely looked vulnerable. Schneider stormed ahead 52 in the opening set, blasting winners from both wings and serving with tremendous pace. Pegula appeared a step slow on returns. Her movement lacked its usual sharpness, and for nearly half an hour, she looked like a player struggling physically late in a demanding season. Then the momentum shifted. Pegula reeled off 5 consecutive games to steal the opening set, 75. The turning point wasn't produced by spectacular winners, it came from experience. As Schneider began feeling the pressure of closing out the set, her level dipped ever so slightly. Pegula immediately recognized the opportunity, became more aggressive on return, and capitalized without hesitation. In the second set, she earned an early break and never surrendered the advantage, completing a 75-64 victory. The final score suggests a routine win. The match itself was anything but routine. Pegula came dangerously close to losing, yet once again demonstrated why she has become one of the toughest competitors on the WTA Tour. She remained composed under pressure, trusted her game, and gradually turned the match in her favor. So what should we expect in today's championship? The most valuable point of reference remains their only previous meeting, the unforgettable 2025 Miami Open semifinal. Like today's final, that match was played on a hard court, and despite Pegula's victory, the margins were incredibly small. The opening set required a tiebreak, with Pegula prevailing. 73, Eala answered by taking the second set. 75, after earning a crucial late break. The deciding set was ultimately settled by a single service break early on, and Eala had opportunities to level the score that she simply couldn't convert. That match taught both players important lessons. Pegula discovered just how dangerous Eala's return game can be whenever Eala reads the serve and drives. Her returns deep into the court, she immediately gains control of baseline exchanges through her clean, aggressive ball-striking Eala. Meanwhile, learned something equally important. Pegula gives away nothing. There are no careless mistakes, No emotional lapses and very few free points. Every rally must be earned, every opening created through patience and precision. Pegula is perfectly comfortable extending rallies to 20 shots if necessary, and every ball she hits serves a tactical purpose. For Eala, the game plan is clear even if executing it will be anything but easy. She must force Pegula to move laterally. Pegula's greatest weapon is her ability to absorb pace and redirect it with exceptional consistency. If today's match turns into repeated exchanges through the center of the court, the advantage almost certainly shifts toward the American. Instead, Eala needs to create angles. She must use her forehand to stretch Pegula wide before attacking the open court. We saw that exact pattern work brilliantly against Naomi Osaka, especially during the second set, when Eala repeatedly pulled Osaka off the court with heavy cross-court forehands before finishing the point with precise down-the-line winners. The challenge today is that Pegula is even quicker around the court, anticipates patterns exceptionally well, and rarely allows opponents to finish points as easily. That is what makes this championship match so compelling. Eala has proven throughout this tournament that she can dismantle elite opponents with fearless attacking tennis. Pegula has shown time and again that she can absorb pressure, solve problems, and win matches through discipline and experience. One player is chasing history. The other is protecting her place among the game's elite. And in just a few hours, one of them will leave Washington with the WTA 500 title.